So, you're diving into Java. You've definitely heard about interfaces. They're a huge part of the language. But what you might not know is that there are actually 3 different fundamental types. Today we're going to break down normal, functional, and marker interfaces. And trust me, getting this right is a total game changer, whether you're prepping for an exam or designing your next big application.
Okay, so here's how we're going to tackle this. We'll start with a super quick refresher on what an interface is in the first place. Then we'll get into the 3 types one by one: the normal, the functional, and the kind of weird marker interface. To finish up, we'll put them all side by side to make the differences pop, and I'll give you a quick revision guide to lock it all in.
Before we start categorizing, let's just do a quick recap. What is a Java interface? At its heart, it's basically a contract for a class. It's a way of saying, hey, any class that implements me must have these specific methods. It defines the what, but leaves the how up to the class.
Right, let's kick things off with the type you've probably seen and used the most. This is your standard bread and butter interface, the one that really is the workhorse in a ton of Java programs.
The definition here is about as simple as it gets. If you're looking at an interface and it has 2 or more methods declared inside it, congratulations, you're looking at a normal interface. It's designed to lay out a broad contract with a bunch of different behaviors.
So, the key takeaway, the big rule, is just that simple. 2 or more methods. That's it. This is our starting point, our baseline. Keep that number in your head because it's what really separates this type from the other 2 we're about to check out.
Okay, next up is the functional interface. And as you can see from the subtitle, this one is all about the power of 1.
So here's the deal. A functional interface has exactly 1 abstract method. Not 2, not 0, just 1. And this isn't some random rule, you know? This very specific constraint is what makes some of modern Java's most powerful features, like Lambda expressions, even possible.
Now, you'll often hear people call this a SAM interface. That's an acronym for Single Abstract Method. SAM interface, functional interface, they're just 2 names for the same thing. And that's a term that will absolutely come up in technical interviews, so you'll want to remember that one.
So why do we care so much about this single method rule? Well, it's because it's the key that unlocks Lambda expressions. Now, we're not going to do a huge deep dive into Lambdas today, but the main thing you need to know is that they are a super clean, concise way to write code, and they literally couldn't exist without these single-method functional interfaces.
And now for the weirdest one of the bunch, the marker interface. I love this subtitle, the empty powerhouse. This really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If the whole point of an interface is to create a contract of methods for a class to implement, what on earth is the point of one that's completely empty? I mean, it seems like it goes against the very idea of an interface.
Well, the answer is that its purpose is totally different. It's not about defining methods, it's about providing information. When a class implements an empty interface, you're essentially putting a little sticky note on it. You're marking it to tell the Java compiler or the Java virtual machine, hey, this class is special, treat it differently.
Let's make this more concrete with a quick analogy. Think about saving your game. Right now, your character's health, their score, their location, all of that exists as an object in your computer's RAM. Saving the game is literally the process of taking that object's data and writing it to a file on your hard drive. In the Java world, we call this serialization.
And here is where it all connects. See, by default, Java is a bit protective. It won't let you just save any object to a file. You have to explicitly give it permission. And a marker interface, like Java's built-in serializable interface, is that permission slip. By adding implements serializable to your class, you're marking it and telling the JVM, hey, it's cool. You have my permission to save objects of this class.
Okay, we've been through all 3 types, the multi-method normal, the single-method functional, and the no-method marker. Now let's put them all up on the screen at once and do a clear side-by-side comparison.
This table right here, this is your ultimate cheat sheet. It really all comes down to the number of methods. Got 2 or more? It's a normal interface, used for defining big, broad contracts. Exactly 1? It's a functional interface, and that's your key to using Lambdas. And 0? That's a marker, which is all about giving special metadata or permissions to the compiler.
All right, let's wrap this all up. If you've got an exam coming up or maybe a technical interview, these are the absolute must-know points from everything we've just talked about.
So to really boil it all down, it's all about counting the methods. If you see multiple methods for a standard contract, you're looking at a normal interface. If you see just one abstract method, that's your cue that it's a functional interface, the key to modern Java features. And if it's empty, with no methods at all, that's a marker, a special tag for the compiler. If you can just remember that, you've totally got this concept down.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought.
Understanding these categories isn't just theory for an exam. It's about making smart design choices in your code. Knowing when to use a simple marker, a very focused functional interface, or a broad normal interface, that's one of the things that separates a good developer from a great one. So the question is, how are you going to apply this knowledge?